Everybody, welcome back to Disturn Kreationz Auto. So I got a quick question for you. Have you ever been driving down the road and all of a sudden your car shuts off and it won't come back on? You lost all electric? Or have you ever been stuck anywhere, like a parking lot, after you just bought groceries and you got to get home and the car won't turn on? You get somebody to jump it, it turns on for a second, and then it goes right back off again? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is right now. It's not your battery, and I know that's probably what you were thinking of, but it's what charges the battery. Yep, that's the alternator. And we got to change the alternator in our K1500 right now, because if we don't have our shop truck up and running, we're not working. So let's get right in here, show you how to change that alternator. At least this one's easy. All right, so right under the hood, you're going to find your engine. And this one just so happens to be super easy. It's right on top. Now, normally your alternator will have this kind of little fin thing around it, and that's to keep the part cool because it's under a lot of electricity, and electricity gets hot, blah, 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 whatever. But that's not why we're here. We're here to change this so this will start charging the battery. Now, anytime you're going to be working with electronic components, the very first thing that I do is I either remove the battery totally or I at least take the ground cable off. Now, on a lot of your newer vehicles, BMWs, so we got BMWs, Porsches, and Mercedes-Benz. It says you should wait at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes to let all the discharge come out of all the computers. But since this is a 1990 truck, it really doesn't have almost anything electronic on it. So as soon as you disconnect your battery, if you wait about 2 minutes, you should be good to go ahead and get this off. Now, I don't have a fan shroud here anymore. I didn't like it. I do a lot of work on my truck. So I do have the coolant line zip tied up. You won't have to worry about that. First thing we're going to do is I let go the serpentine belt. So the serpentine belt is over this, but I have to let the tensioner loose. So what I did was I put you can either use a socket and a socket wrench like this. You can use an open hand, an open wrench, a box wrench, whatever. You're just gonna put that on this one, move it. It's gonna move this piece back and forth, and then you can take the belt off. So that's the second thing we did. Remember the first thing? Always disconnect the battery when you're doing electrical work. Now the second thing was remove the belt. I'm going to go ahead and clip the wire off of this and remove that too. You don't even have to worry about that. And then we have to take out this bolt right here, and then there's only one through bolt in the back over here. Now this is the hard part. The electric right here, because this truck is old, you want to take it out kind of easy. Make sure you take it off with two hands and don't do it like I'm doing. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on this tab right here because you don't want to break it, because then it won't click onto your new alternator. And you might have to cut the wire and put in what's a pigtail, having a new wire piece in. You don't want to have to do more work. So take your time, take this out, because the engine moves around all the time and you don't want this to vibrate and come out. Second thing is this huge red wire that comes from the battery, from the main wiring harness. You're going to have to take this off, slide it out, slide. Usually there's a washer, which I think that is right there, or that might be the eyelet. We're going to take this off right here, and I'm going to show you how big this wire is, and that is the positive wire. So the positive wire, it gets ground to the vehicle, to the engine, and that's why your engine is ground all over the place with different grounds on the engine, like this over here. Boop. And you only have the signal wire and the power wire. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, take these two pieces out, wrench this off, then we're going to take a look at what this looks like. Okay, we got the alternator out, and the long bolt was here, and this short bolt was right here in the front. Sorry, short bolt was right here. So the short bolt was 1/2 inch, and the long bolt in the back was 9/16. I did not have to cut this piece off, though. If you don't have a shroud, it broke. This is just a little trick that I do there, and then I tie this one to this, which is coming out as well, this evap canister. But these are the two pieces in the back I was telling you about. So this did not have a washer on it. Usually they do. This eyelet is the 10 that I took out, and then this is the piece, the clip. So when you're prying this up, you don't want to break this off, because you break this clip off, then you only have the plug-in part, and when the engine moves, this is a big V8, this moves, it's old school. It'll start to rattle itself out, and then you won't connect to your alternator, and it won't work. You'll be chasing this all the time. So if you do break this, just buy the generic pigtail, the Dorman, or whatever it is, cut the one wire, splice it in with one of those little butt connectors. Don't use tape, use a real butt connector, and plug it in the right way. Do it the right way. way. Now let's go look at the alternator. This is the alternator. You see the tube, the long piece, that's where the long bolt came from. That was on the side here, and then it was in the front. So then the little one was here, and the long one was here, but it was from behind. This is the fans. This is where the belt went on, and then in the back is what I really want to show you. So the red wire with the 10 is this one, and I always put the bolt back on it so I know where it's at. And then the little thing was clipped in here. So if you break that tab off and you don't have anything to grab onto this lip right here, there's the whole reason why this lip is on here. It's designed to hold it steady because they know it's going to wiggle itself out. Now, a good sign that the alternator is bad, and you can leave a comment down below and tell me if you think I'm full of crap or if you've heard this before, but the old guys used to tell me that when you see this copper in here, and it starts to look brown and worn out or reddish, burn up like that, that is a good indication that your alternator is going bad. You don't want to buy an alternator or reman or any of that if it's got brown wiring in. You always want to look and make sure that the wiring looks brand new. I'd rather spend a couple extra bucks and get one that the wiring looks fresh, like brand new wire, than buy one for $20 cheaper and a wiring looks crappy like that. Just a little tip for you. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go swap it, use this for the core, and come back, and we'll see what happens when we plug it in. All right, so there we go. Fresh alternator's in, belt is on. You just put everything in reverse. Very easy job to do. You get the one bolt we took out here, and the one bolt we took out here, and you just set it in and bolt it back up. Now, you're gonna have a shroud here for the plastic, but I cut mine off because it was already cracked and broken. Eventually, I wanna take this off and put an electric fan. That's why I really don't care. And that's why I had to zip tie this up. Now, if you don't have a shroud, make sure you zip tie this pipe, this coolant pipe, up on top of your alternator again, and put some kind of plastic covering or tape around it and then zip tie it, because the engine moves and you don't want this to start cutting into this. Then you get a drip here and it goes directly on your alternator, and then you're screwed because electric and water don't mix. Now, I hope this helped you guys out. As you can see, I've moved the truck from over in front of the shop to over into the parking lot next to the van, so we all know it works. But we have to put the truck aside for right now and go do some Mercedes videos. So if you like this kind of stuff, you like fixing your truck for free, you like putting money back in your pocket, give us a like and a subscribe. We'll be back with more videos.